Hi everyone, today I'm going to be sharing the most important tips to consider when you are changing from being an employed dance teacher into running your own dance business. So this is for dance teachers who might be teaching for someone else, doing classes in someone else's studio, who's thinking about starting to do things for themselves. So teaching their own classes, running their own business, that kind of thing. Whether it's online, whether it's in person, whether it's ballet, whatever, salsa, I don't know, hip hop, whatever. These tips will work for any dance style, any age group, any kind of methodology. The important thing is how you're actually going to set up your business. These come from mistakes that I made, most of them. That's why I'm making this video, because I wish that this video had been available ages ago when I was transitioning into making my own business. Actually, you know what, I've done it so many times in so many different countries and different cities that I know so much better now how to do it, and take these things obviously with a pinch of salt. What I mean by that is some of these might be more applicable, some of these might be less applicable to you as a person and the way you want to do things. But in general, I think they're pretty good kind of basis to cover. So, number one, the rate that you've been getting paid to teach at the studio where you're employed, you need to make much more money per class when you start running your own business. Here's why. The rate that, it's not the rate that you're going to charge, but the amount of money that you're going to make per hour when you're running your own dance business, so like say it's an hour class, the amount of money that you need from that has to include taxes. Hopefully you're running your business legally. It needs to include studio fees. It needs to include all of the time that goes into the admin of that, the planning of the classes. It needs to obviously include your time. It needs to include your experiences. It needs to include also the time that you spend marketing for that class. So this is a huge mindset shift that like I didn't really know. I didn't really get it. Because, you know, at some point I was like, well, they pay me, you know, 15 euros an hour when I'm working for someone else, so I should try and get, I don't know, like 20, so I'm gonna charge like 5 euros a class and get 4 people. No. Like, you need to calculate what's the studio fee, how much do I need for taxes, and then how much is my hourly rate, and then how much do I also need to include in this for my marketing and my admin and all the other stuff that I do that I'm not getting paid for those hours that I didn't have to do when I was just working for someone else. So that's the first thing. You must charge more for your classes in terms of what you gain in an hour versus what you were getting paid as a dance teacher. That also means that you need to reduce the number of hours that you're teaching. This one is really hard to like wrap our head around, because we think, well, like, I'm a dance teacher, even when we're running your own dance business and you're like, my business is teaching dance. So we think, oh, the amount of dance hours at dance classes or hours that I was teaching before, I'm just going to do that same number of hours, but I'm going to do it for myself now. So I'm just going to be in charge of running it and blah, blah, blah. That's not going to work, and here's why. I mean, it might work for a bit, but it won't be sustainable. When you're just a dance teacher for someone else, your only job is to plan those classes and deliver great classes. And at night, when you go home, your work is done, you're finished. I mean, yeah, you might be doing other choreographies and whatever, but that's your job to schedule that in your own time, however you like to fit it, if you like doing the mornings, whatever. But that's it. You don't have the pressure and the responsibility of getting people into those classes, of the marketing, of the admin, of the tax returns, of the million other things that you then need to dedicate time to as a business owner. So you're going to need to teach less, But that doesn't mean that you're going to make less money, because like I said in the first point, you should be charging more, because now not only are you a dance teacher, but you're also a dance teacher and a business owner. So that's a really important mindset shift. And I think it's also consideration for people just to consider, well, do I want my own business, or do I want to actually just like not have to worry about anything else except my choreography, my lesson plans, and delivering the classes? If that's all you want to worry about, then that's absolutely fine. It's great. Like, it's wonderful to be an employed dance teacher. I just want to say, like, these two things are both great in their own right, but you need to have it really clear which one you want to do and which one you want to be. And so, you know, in my academy, my Aligned Dance Teachers Academy, what I help both of these types of dance teacher, but obviously I can specialize in helping dance teachers who want to also run their own businesses. And why I love that so much is because you have a little bit more flexibility and control over your own lifestyle. Your business and your lifestyle get to integrate in like a really beautiful way. And I'm sharing with you guys today some of the things that we consider during the academy. So that's another one. Reducing your teaching hours so that you're working the same number of hours. You might work a few more hours when you're a business owner, probably will. But that gives you time for your admin, for your marketing, for your finance stuff, for all the other things that you're going to need to do. So here's number 3. Oh my goodness, when I learnt this one, how my life changed. As a business owner, you're going to need to rest more. You need to build in deliberate time to rest. Why do I say that? And I would encourage also just employed dance teachers to do this as well. I would encourage us all to build in more time to rest. But why do I say, particularly when you make the transition over to running your own dance classes? Because we as dancers highly underestimate the amount of energy it takes to run a business, mental energy. As dancers, we're pretty good at calculating like physical energy output. Like, we're pretty good at knowing, well, when I do an hour and a half class, I feel like this, and I need to kind of eat like this, and I need to sleep this many hours. Like, hopefully we're pretty good at listening to our bodies and knowing that. What we're so not good at is understanding the mental energy that it takes to run a business. And most of that comes down to decision making. Not all of it, like there's obviously a lot of other things like the learning process and just applying stuff and actually, you know, being practical about it. But most, I would say, yeah, the big factor in this is decision making. Decision making is extremely costly in terms of using up energy. And when you're a business owner, you are constantly making decisions, whether they're big decisions or they're micro decisions. This is something that I didn't acknowledge. I completely ignored it, and I was really tired, and I was like, what is wrong with me? And I was judging myself because I was like, I'm teaching a few less hours. Why am I so tired? Like, I'm doing something wrong. It must be my diet. It must be this. It must be that. It must be me getting old. It wasn't. It was that I hadn't factored in how tiring it is to run my own business and how much decision making is costly to the body, particularly the brain, obviously. And when I figured that out, and I was like, when I make the really big decisions, or when I implement a big change in my business, or like go through a launch or something like that, I have to build in rest. This was a game changer for me, an absolute game changer, which is why I'm sharing it with you guys. And this is, I'm giving you guys all the value here. Like, I'm giving you guys so much value, but at the same time, what we do in the academy is that we actually put systems and practices and tools in place so that you can actually achieve what I'm talking about today. So I'm giving you guys all of this for free because, you know, I want to support as many dance teachers as I possibly can, but at the same time, I can't be with you for 6 months like I can with the people who are in the academy, so that I can actually give you one-to-one feedback, so that I can actually provide the tools, the encouragement, the accountability, all of these things like the ongoing coaching, etc., etc., so that you can implement all of these things. Because it's not let me tell you, me saying rest more sounds really great and you're like, okay, fine, like I get it theoretically, but there's a whole other thing when it comes to actually being able to do it, because there's guilt, there's judgments of laziness, there's so many things that we need to work through in terms of mindset, in terms of embodiment, and in terms of strategy. So just know that I'm giving you guys the good stuff here. Like, this is the goal, this is the magic, but it's not a switch. Just because you know it doesn't mean that you can implement it. But hopefully, at least the awareness is going to be there to start considering these things. Next one. Find accountability. I've just said it. Accountability. When you run a business, you have no one to answer to except yourself. Now, in some ways, of course, you're answering to your students or to your clients, like that as well. Yes, absolutely. But you also have that as a dance teacher. But when it comes to the structure, when it comes to the end of the workday, when it comes to, is this enough or is it not enough? Or should I do this extra thing, or one more post, or one more thing, or one more this? No one holds you accountable but you. And that is the beautiful thing about working in a dance studio for someone else, which is that they will say, bye, have a lovely evening, have a nice weekend when you finish your classes, and that's it. That's obviously not the case when you're running your own business. Sorry for that noise there. Tila just decided to jump up and join us. At the beginning, I didn't fully appreciate or understand this, and I thought, again, there's something wrong with me when I wasn't able to actually be implementing the stuff that I knew that I wanted to do. There would be some things that I knew, like, oh, this could be really good, this would be good, okay, like I've kind of got the strategy, I'd kind of figured it out, but then I wasn't implementing, like I wasn't actually going through with the action steps. And that's because I didn't have accountability. I didn't have someone checking. And I thought, that's something wrong with me. That is something wrong with me. And actually, it was because I was trying to set up and do new things without any business accountability. And so when I started joining programs, and now that I have my one-to-one coach and mentor, everything feels smoother, easier. I have help, I have encouragement, I have someone checking, did I do the thing that I said I was going to do last week? And that in itself, that doesn't make me weak, that doesn't make me useless as a business owner. That is built into businesses, and I can tell you that the most successful entrepreneurs, it's like I've learned these things so recently, and I'm like, now that I listen to lots of interviews with other entrepreneurs, I'm in a whole community of entrepreneurs led by two of the most amazing entrepreneurs doing super well. Anyway, when I started to see the patterns, and I was like, oh my goodness, they build accountability into their business model from someone else who is like a few steps ahead of them. I see it over and over again. It doesn't mean they're doing it all the time. Like, once I finish my 6 months of my coach and mentor, I'm going to have a little break because I will have set myself up for success, and I'll just kind of continue to keep working, and I've set good boundaries now. But it's so important to have that, and this is another reason why I started my academy, Aligned Dance Teacher Academy, because I know that there's dance teachers out there who have these amazing ideas, these amazing classes they want to offer people, or this amazing workshop they want to run, or this amazing whatever it is, and they're not able to implement it because they don't have the accountability and because it's hard. They need accountability, and they need some help and guidance and tools, because again, we think that, oh, because I've been a dance teacher, I have everything I need to run my own dance classes. You've got all the stuff you need within the studio. That's amazing, that's beautiful, that's brilliant, that's your main gift to the world. But at the same time, there are other tools that is going to make that so much more enjoyable, so much more successful, so much more flowing, so it doesn't feel like you're constantly like pushing, this is hard, this is tiring, giving up, and then like going back to work for another studio. And again, not saying that that's not great, that's great if that's what you want, but if you want to run your own business, set your own timetable, have your own schedule, have more free time, be more creative with what you offer, all of these kinds of things, then you need to be running your own dance business. So linked to that is asking for help. like I just said, you had all the tools you needed to teach amazing classes, but now you need a whole other set of tools to be a successful, aligned business owner. There's so much that we never got taught in terms of like just the basics, the logistics of running a business, of talking about your business, of sharing your offer, of how to do ethical marketing. I'm not interested in all the like marketing books this and quick fix. No, I'm not interested in that at all. I'm about ethical marketing. I'm about authenticity. I'm about bringing value to people for free, but also bringing your most amazing energy and care to your clients, to your students, to the people who are paying you good money for your expertise and your time. And those are tools. Those are things that anybody can learn, but we didn't get taught them. So it's just so powerful. And obviously I'm still learning. I'm always learning. This is why I have someone holding that space for me at the same time as I hold that space for other people. Okay, the next one. Oh, this is so important. Simplify. Simplify. When you are teaching for other people, when you're employed by other people, you can literally, someone can be like, oh, hey, I need you to cover this class, can you do it? Yep, you can do it. Hey, I want to like try this thing out. I'm paying you this much, will you do it? Yeah, because your rate's the same all the time. It's going to take a bit of different planning. You might change, you might even teach for a few different studios. You can do all of that because again, at the end of the day, once you step out of that dance studio, you're done. You're done. And also perhaps as a dance teacher working for other people, sometimes you might not be in a studio that's paying you full-time hours in one place, and so you are actually needing to do a bit of this here, a bit of that there, a bit of one-to-one, a bit of group thing, a bit of this, a bit of that, whatever, and teaching a bit of this style and a bit of that thing, and adults and some kids and some of this and some of that and some of... You can do that because you don't have all of that, like I said, decision-making energy required for that. Like it's either a yes or no. You're either doing the class or you're not doing it. And obviously I'm not even talking about creativity here. Creativity comes into both of these places. Like you need to be a creative dance teacher when you're employed by other people, you need to be a creative dance teacher when you're running your own classes, but you also need to be creative in your business. So I'm not talking about creativity. I'm talking here again about the mental energy, the decision making, etc, etc, etc. The other thing that's great for that why you want to simplify. So like I said, you want to simplify as a business owner because having little bits here and there and doing this kind of thing, it's harder to make good money that way because people are confused by what you do. And oh my goodness, if I haven't done this for the last decade, people didn't have it clear what was I doing, like what exactly am I offering and who exactly is it for and why this thing? Why is this thing important to me and why am I doing it? Because I still had that old like dance teacher mentality of like, oh, this would be fun, and this would be fun, and this would be fun, and this would be fun. And what I didn't consider is that all of those fun things, if I'm the one running them and putting them together, that is so much work. And also people then don't really know like who I am and what I'm really about at my core. And listen, I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur. Like I teach dance, I've taught many different dance styles, but like I teach right now, I teach adult ballet classes, I teach one-to-one and I teach group classes, but I only teach adults now. This is how I simplified. I only teach adults. I only teach in the dance studio. I used to have online classes. So that's my simplification of my dance classes. And then I also do coaching, but I am now only coaching dance teachers at the moment. Before I was doing all kinds of life coaching and different programs with different people. Now I'm coaching dance teachers, and it's so much better when you do that because when you simplify, you're actually able to serve your people so much deeper because you become really an expert in those things. And it doesn't mean that you can't shift and it doesn't mean that you can't evolve, you absolutely can. But it's really important to simplify somewhat what we're doing. And you've heard I'm still doing multiple different things, and then of course I have my podcast and I'm speaking to different people, so I still have different things going on. The beautiful thing about running my own business is that I can make time for all those things. But what I'm not doing is I'm trying to do too many completely different, unrelated things. Like, the thing that joins all the things that I'm doing together right now is that I believe that dance should be more accessible, more welcoming, more available. I believe that we can do it in a better way. I believe that dance should be first and foremost participatory, and etc, etc, etc. So like, this mission underpins everything else that I do. So in a way, that's also some simplification for me. Okay, I mentioned this before, but I didn't say it as like a specific point, which is to set work boundaries. When you leave the dance studio, like I said before, when you're working for someone else, you're done. Like, yes, there's going to be class prep, and yes, there's going to be choreography, etc. But in some ways, you're done. When you run your own business, you have to create your own beginning and end to your work day. I didn't do this for the longest time, and I still don't always do it, because I also do allow myself sometimes, if I'm in the flow, like, I'll allow that to happen. But I really try and have the ritual that when we're getting ready to have dinner, I'm tying off loose ends, I'm finishing up work for the day, and then I'm with Jordan, I'm present, and I'm having the rest of the night off and to myself. And usually I do that, not always, but most of the time. And that works for me. That might seem late for some people, but that works for me because I usually have mornings off. Like, I have very slow mornings. I have like a long breakfast. I sometimes go for a walk. I chill out with the cats. I sit on the balcony. I watch something really interesting, or I read something. Like, that's my morning. That's how I like to do things. You need to find what works for you. Perhaps for you, your work day is going to start early because you're a morning person. You really enjoy and you have your best ideas in the morning. Or you like to teach first thing in the morning, maybe you do morning classes, and then you're going to have something at the end of your work day that gives you a bit of a boundary, and that you have like a slowing down thing, the same as I do in the morning. Like, I have this kind of build up into starting my day. Perhaps for you it's the opposite, and you kind of have this slowing down and easing out of work and just finishing with something like maybe easier or more simple or whatever it is. But you have to find that for yourself. Okay. Lean into your strengths. This is the next one. When you're an employed dance teacher, quite often you're going to be working to your strengths in terms of the dance technique or style that you know. That will be your strengths. So presumably that's what you're trained in. But what I mean when I say strengths is not only that, but also your strengths as a human being. Like, the strengths of your individual personality traits, the strengths of your characteristics, the strengths of your gifts and your experiences. This is something that is not as easily available to teachers who are employed by other people, because there's just basically an expectation that you're going to teach this class, you're going to do it in a way that is in keeping with the dance studio's like methodology or like ethics or whatever else, and that hopefully, and there are lots of great studios that do encourage their dance teachers to really like lean into the way that they do things, but it's still a little like jump, I guess, or a little different to literally being able to design your dance business to who you are. Like, you don't need to be anyone else when you run your own business. You don't need to fit into any mold. You don't need to teach in this one very specific and rigid way because that's how it's done in the studio or the academy or whatever it is. You lean into your strengths, your personality, the things that people are going to be drawn to you for, and you can even create your own curriculum. I don't teach any curriculum that's preordained by some other something. I create my classes based on various different things, which I won't go into now because I see we've been going for 25 minutes. But this is something also that like I encourage my teachers to do within the academy, within the Aligned Dance Teacher Academy. Sorry guys, it's really like pollen-y here today. I'm breathing in the pollen as I'm speaking, the window's open. So, yes, the best thing about teaching in your own business is that you get to do it the best way for you and for your students. And again, there's a whole like mindset philosophy behind this, and it's all about self-responsibility and self-empowerment, and that basically stepping away from perfectionism. Perfectionism saying there's one perfect way to teach, there's one perfect way to do everything, and if you're not doing it that way, then you're wrong. But understanding, anyway, if you want to know more about it, join me in the academy. The last one, build a lifestyle you love. Build a lifestyle you love. Now, for a time, for me, being employed by someone else as a dance teacher was the lifestyle that I loved. I loved it. Like, I literally had that mental space at the end of the day to like go and to leave, but I only really enjoyed it for like a couple of years, and then I was like, nah, I want to do my own thing. Like this, I feel called to serve in a way that feels more aligned with my values and the way that I truly believe that dance can be done, and that really serves people. And so, you know, it worked for a bit, and then I realized right now this isn't working for me in the same way anymore. I want more flexibility, I want more freedom, I want to be able to serve people in a way that I believe is deeper for those specific group of people who want it and who need it, or who are drawn to it, and that allows me to be completely 100% myself every time I step into the dance studio. Like, there's no acting, there's no pretentiousness, there's no nothing. Like, it's me and my community of dancers, and that's like an incredible gift. Anyway, apart from that, also, there is no point in when you're transitioning from being an employed dancer for someone else into making your own dance business. There's no point, unless you want to, in recreating the same model that you just left and now just doing it but running it yourself. If you want to do that, that's wonderful, that's great. Like, if you have it clear, then great. But if one of the attractions of leaving that way of doing dance and like being employed and like working all those hours and having to like have that timetable and whatever else was one of the reasons why you actually were thinking, oh, it would be cool to have my own thing, don't recreate it. And let me tell you, it's so easy to do it by accident, because it's what we're used to seeing, it's what we're used to doing. So then we tell ourselves this is the only way to do it, so then we have fear that if we do it a different way, either that people are going to judge us, or that no one's going to come to our classes, or that we're lazy, or that whatever else. Many stories that we tell ourselves in our head about doing something differently, especially in the dance world, but really in anything, like in life in general. Doing something the way that's not the norm is really scary. I get it, but creating the same schedule again, but just running it yourself, creating the same stress again, but just brought on by yourself, creating the same amount of money that you're earning here, but now just earning it in your business. That's not what I'm about in the academy. Like, what I want to give people is the opportunity to create less stress, less chronic stress, let's say. Acute stress is very helpful and very good. So acute stress is like what you experience when you're in the dance class, when you're pushing and your muscles are burning or your legs shaking or whatever else. That's acute stress that's going to end the moment that you stop doing that exercise. Acute stress is also good in business. By that I mean pushing through discomfort, doing something for the first time, running that new workshop, showing up to speak on a podcast that you feel really nervous about, you know, starting whatever it is. Moving through those moments of discomfort, those are the acute stress things. What you don't want is a chronic stress of being like always worried, of being always burnt out, of being always tired, of being whatever else. No, there's no time for that. And like, I don't have any of that anymore. I have the acute stress for sure, but like, I don't really have chronic stress. I'm trying to think now, like, do I? Is there something that I haven't really worked through? And I can't think of anything except just that it's not a chronic stress, but I'm still working towards, and I have it like in my heart, I guess, that I'm still working towards being able to have a more financially abundant business so that I can make it more sustainable, and by that I mean like reinvesting in carbon neutral projects so that my business is like carbon neutral, and creating more amazing experiences, which sometimes you need the money before you make the offer. So yeah, like those kinds of things, and also investing in my own health and myself as a person. So that's probably the only thing, and it's not even stress, but it's just something that I'm like more aware of, that I'm still working like towards that. But everything else, like, I'm so at peace with. I'm so at peace with it, and that gives you so much more space for creativity, for, yeah, creating this business that you love and that feels fresh and thriving and exciting, and even in the days when it doesn't feel exciting, it feels peaceful, and it feels like you're content, and it feels like it supports you. Like, you are not there to support your business. Let's just get this really clear. You are not there to support your business. Your business is there to support you. Otherwise, what the hell are we doing? That doesn't make sense, right? Businesses are just a human construct. Without humans, there are no businesses. So businesses should be there to serve human beings. Your business is there to serve you, and obviously your clients. And that, if you're someone who is in alignment, then you will know that you feel served when you serve other people. That is that like beautiful cycle of generosity. So, why do I love the idea of encouraging more dance teachers to run their own business? You get to literally design the life that you want to live. You get to serve people in the way that is aligned with who you are. Like, you don't need to change. You don't need to change. Right now, there are people that would love your classes. It's just a case of creating those classes, really, how you want to do them, knowing how to talk about them, knowing how to charge for them, and knowing how to really deeply serve those people when they come into your space, and simultaneously knowing how to look after yourself and put your health first, so that all of these things can work together beautifully. Like, you don't have to sacrifice any of those things. They all go together. Your health and your business and your lifestyle and the outcomes and the process for your students and your clients, they all go together beautifully. Like, none of those things are in opposition. That's not the word I want to use, but you know what I mean. So, this is what I wanted to share today. I personally think this was packed with value. I've literally taken so long to think about what were the mistakes, what are the things that I've learned, what are the things, the like key takeaways that I'm going to be sharing in the academy, and sharing them with you all, so that you know and you can start to bring awareness to these things. But this isn't the work. Like, this 30-minute video, this isn't doing the work, right? This is some ideas, this is some considerations, this is the kind of theory of it. But the important thing is being able to actually have the mindset shifts that are going to allow you to do these things that I've been talking about, to embody fully who you actually are, what your actual values are, and then be able to use strategy to create a business which aligns with all of that. And it might sound easy, but it's not. Like, it's not easy. This is why the best entrepreneurs in the world, and the best, even like the best dancers, like, they all have mentors. Even the professional dancers, like, they all have mentorship. It's not like, oh, okay, I've just got into the Royal Ballet, and now I'm in, and now, okay, I'm a professional dancer, I've made it, big tick, that's it. No, like, literally, there's always someone that you're learning from who's a few steps above you, or even a little bit. And I don't mean above, I mean has journeyed along the path a little bit further. And it's not even the same path. Like, there's also this thing where, like, there's all these different paths, but I'm over here and I can kind of see these paths too, even though it's not my path. I hope that makes sense. I feel like it doesn't, but anyway. So yes, this is what I want to say. You are allowed to be supported in this process. I encourage you to be supported in this process. When I accepted help, support, accountability, wisdom from my coach and the other people that I've worked with, other coaches and other facilitators of this work, That's when I was able to create this business that I absolutely love, that feels in alignment, that feels like it nourishes me as a person, both in my health and in my creativity and in my like mission, my purpose in the world. Like, how lucky am I? How lucky am I? Like, just saying that for a second, I was like, oh yeah, like, just take a moment for that to sink in. Like, I feel in alignment with what I came here to do, who I'm doing it with, how I'm doing it. I know that it's sustainable. I know that it's ethical. I know the way that I talk about things and the way that I do my marketing. I know it comes from a place of generosity and authenticity and all of these things. Like, there is nothing that you have to, what's the word? That you have to compromise on. That's what I was trying to think of. You don't have to compromise on any of these things. To have a successful business, you don't have to become not ethical. To run a dance business that brings in money, you don't have to compromise on how sustainable you are. You don't have to compromise on being a wonderful person and a very generous person and a very giving person and doing things for the right reason. You don't have to compromise on any of that. Like, all of these things can go together. And you can probably hear, like, I'm so passionate about this because I would love to see a world where there are more healthy dance teachers, wealthy dance teachers who feel fulfilled, dance teachers who are genuinely aligned with their own strengths and not constantly feeling like I'm not good enough, I don't know enough, I have to be more like that other teacher, I have to be more like that. No, like, just imagine if every dance teacher in the world really felt like they absolutely loved not only their job but their lifestyle, where they felt that they were taken care of financially, where they felt that they could share their genuine love and passion for dance for a lifetime, that they're not going to burn out, that they're not going to become resentful, that they're not going to get injured, that they're not going to have to choose between a loving relationship with their husband or their partner or their wife or whatever, or like being able to see their children, that actually you can have all of this, like, you can build this into a lifestyle that you love. You can create things from a place of like a deep mission of how you came here to serve the world. That can all come together. So, there are 2 places opening in Dance Teacher Academy in June, and there will also be in July, etc, etc. So whatever month you're watching this in, there will be, actually there might not always be 2 places, there might only be like 1, or maybe there aren't any. But anyway, send me a message. I'm going to leave the link in the description, but honestly, just send me a message on Instagram if you're interested in joining the Academy. It's a 6-month program. We have 3 live sessions every month, just want to make that really clear. This is a live program, okay? I'm here. We do this in real time. I'm here for you. I get to know you, you get to know me. I get to really understand your mission, your business, what you want to create in your life. This is what the Academy is for. So this is why it's always going to be a live program. Yes, I think I said everything. 6 months, etc, etc, etc. Right now it's still founder's price. So if you have been thinking that you want to join and June seems like a good time, I would love to welcome you into the Academy. As I said, send me a message. We can also have a chat before if you want to have any questions answered, or just have a chat with me in general. That's it. Thank you everyone. Sending you lots of love, and I will be back probably with a podcast clip this weekend. I hope you're enjoying the little podcast clips that are coming from my main podcast channel. I have some amazing conversations that have already been recorded, and a few more that are getting recorded over the next few weeks, and I'm excited, so I hope you guys are enjoying them. Bye everyone!